Carson Hocevar finally gets his first career NASCAR Cup Series victory in a turbulent day at Talledega. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Talkin NASCAR. I'm your host, Andrew. What a day we had at Talledega. Very wacky one. This one at Talledega Superspeedway. We'll get to that. So much more. Carson Hocevar picking up his first career victory. NASCAR's new stage kind of configuration for this race caused a lot of weird pit strategy in this one, but definitely set us up for a very cool finish and a very popular win for Carson Hocevar. Let's go ahead and just talk about that one first. Obviously, like I've already mentioned, Carson Hocevar picks up his first career victory in the NASCAR Cup Series, the second ever win for Spire Motorsports as a team, and both victories for Spire Motorsports, the team owned by Jeff Dickerson, have come with that number 77 car. It was Justin Haley back in 2021, I believe, for Spire Motorsports at Daytona in that rain-shortened race, picked up the victory, and now Carson Hocevar on another superspeedway gets the team's second ever victory in the 77, this time at Talledega. I'll break down that final lap for you real quick. No overtime finish, even though we did get a late caution for Eric Jones spinning off of turn 4. All the Toyotas were just really, really loose today in this race. So it was very interesting that the Toyotas were having that issue specifically. But anyways, we get back racing, and coming to the final lap, it was still double file with Buescher on the outside, Hocevar on the inside. Hocevar kind of jumping back and forth between lanes. Hocevar's 1 and 2 had to jump up to block Buescher, but then had to come back down to block Alex Bowman in the 48, looking for what would be a very, very big bounce back victory for Alex Bowman. So coming down the back straightaway, it would still be side by side, big pushes coming for both lanes, for Bowman getting a big push to Hocevar, Elliott getting a big push to Buescher, Zane Smith giving a big push to Carson Hocevar and Alex Bowman as well. Big pushes coming for both lanes. Heading into turns 3 and 4, coming out off the corner, coming into the tri-oval, it was going to be close. And honestly, it looked like Chris Buescher may have the momentum if coming out of the tri-oval, coming to the finish line, he pulled out, got away from the 77. It looked like he might be able to win that race, but coming to the line, there's a crash coming through the middle of the tri-oval. Ryan Preece gets spun out. Christopher Bell collected as well. Austin Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen come together, and the field kind of comes apart behind them. That gets some separation, and that allows Carson Hocevar to side draft Chris Buescher a little bit and is able to cross the finish line first. Very close finish, though, so you got to give credit to Chris Buescher for staying in that long. But Hocevar comes away with the victory, does a really cool burnout after the fact as well. Is able to, get out of the car pretty much, hang out of the car, hang out of the window, able to look at the fans while he's able to, drive the car with the pedals, hanging out of the car, not sitting in the seat, which is really, really cool. Something that's probably going to get banned by the time you're listening to this episode, which is kind of sucks. We're only going to see it probably one time before there's a penalty that's instituted for it. So that kind of sucks, but, really cool to see that from Carson Hocevar. He was getting a lot of cheers from the crowd. And Carson Hocevar definitely won a lot of fans over with this one for, getting this win, a very popular win. But he definitely won me over in this one as well. I mean, I was definitely not a fan of Carson Hocevar, but just of his aggressive driving style, his aggression level. I thought was a little over the top. I automatically think of Nashville last year when he spun out Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and all the controversy that I went through last year. It was just something that, kind of made him polarizing to me. But with this win and overall the start this year so far, he hasn't been, that uber aggressive driver. He's driven really, really hard. He's had to battle back a lot with pit road mistakes so far this year and come back from a lot, which has been very, very impressive. So that was slowly winning me over. But now this race certainly won me over in a big freaking way. So I don't know if I can officially call myself a Carson Hocevar fan, but this was definitely one that felt good in my eyes and looked really, really cool. So I'm definitely very happy for Carson Hocevar getting his first win, but even more so because he did it in a very clean way. He didn't wreck Chris Buescher coming to the line, which, I think Carson Hocevar has matured enough to not do that at this point. So, yeah. But this finish definitely really, really cool. Very popular victory, but it definitely was, a little bit of an underwhelming finish because you didn't see the big 4 wide finish that we've seen before, like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. winning here, Ryan Blaney beating Kevin Harvick, denying Harvick of his final victory. at least in the past. The I mean, Kevin Harvick beating Jamie McMurray here at Talledega all those years ago, before I even had a thought about watching NASCAR, but probably before I had even watched the movie Cars. So, you know, we've seen some good finishes here at Talledega, but this was not one that was really, really good because it was mostly double file coming to the trial. You saw some drivers try to pull out, but once that wreck happened with Dylan, Christopher Bell, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Ryan Preece, that kind of again broke the field apart, created some gaps. Drivers couldn't get the runs, and obviously that it was just not a very good finish. It was mostly a double wide finish. There was no third lane forming. I mean, I bet they could have formed a third lane coming to the white flag, but obviously they didn't, which was kind of sad. Like, I think Chase Elliott could have tried to make you know a third lane form, but he didn't. So I'm a little bit disappointed by that. So it was kind of, despite Hocevar getting that win, it was still kind of a lackluster finish overall. And looking at the rest of the race, stage one, obviously 90 plus laps. NASCAR decides to have the longest stage at first, and then having stage 2 and 3 both be 45 laps to hopefully improve racing. Stage one, you know, in my opinion, wasn't all that exciting. It was mostly fuel saving once again. But then it created interesting pit strategy because cars didn't make it on field. They had to pick a pit a second time. Drivers were able to stretch it. Some decided to flip the stage. It was created weird pit strategy, which was something that I hadn't seen on super speedway racing in a little bit. We've seen like doses of it in the past, but this one was definitely more pronounced, which was definitely very interesting. Which made it interesting, but the racing still was not very good, and that's the thing I'm really criticizing here. And then in stage 2, we had the big one, obviously early on, had to bring out a red flag, which was crazy. Pretty much engulfed the whole field except for like 4 cars that got away and a couple other guys. Like it was I think if I'm right, I think it was only a couple 20 cars on the lead lap and then everyone else wasn't. So, I don't know. I'm gonna have to check that real quick to make sure. Okay, it was 21 cars on the lead lap, and then there was only 32 cars that were running. Josh Berry, I believe, was the first car out of the race, so it was 32 drivers that were still out on track. But McDowell was the last one out there, 39 laps down. Everyone else was out of the race after that big one crash. So it really eliminated a lot of the field. And in my opinion, honestly, kind of felt as like a big reset and kind of, was like a second start to the race. It reset the race and also restarted at the same time. Because once we got back racing, there was like a whole different vibe, in my opinion, with this one. Once we got back racing in the second stage. And then third stage, in my opinion, was kind of similar to stage one, a little bit of fuel saving. Can we go? Yep. There was a lot of double file, a little bit of 3 wide, but a lot of double file racing. They didn't have to make a pit stop until after Eric Jones spun out. And coming to like the final couple laps, the tension and intensity was ramping up, but it just hadn't been there the whole stage and pretty much the entire race. And when they did try in stage 2, it caused the big one, and everyone was spooked. And we're like, okay, we'll just back it out, back it down a little bit. We'll run quickly. We'll get a lot of speed going, but we're not going to make huge moves and not be super aggressive. So I don't know. It was kind of just a mid, like, lackluster race. It was a little bit all over the place. You had the wild big one. You had a interesting finish that also was kind of offset by it still being double file and not a very exciting finish itself. It was just a popular win. And then stage 1 was just weird with the fuel saving and the pit strategy. So, I mean, I really don't know what to make of this race, besides that, it was all over the place. And it's not really easy to say what this race truly was. It definitely wasn't a good race, at least for that. It was just all over the place. I think that's an easy way to say it, I guess. I've said it so many times. This race was weird. It had a lot of things going, a lot of good things, a couple good things, a couple bad things. Showed flashes of some good. More often than not, wasn't great. It was all over the place. We'll just keep it there right now. But in the end, it ended with a popular victory, which, is going to be a big headline that comes from this race that Carson Hocevar gets his first career victory. So let's go ahead and move on, though, to our top finishers from this one. Looking at the rest of the top 5, Chris Buescher in second, Bowman in third. Really needed a good one. A lot of people were rooting for Alex Bowman. This would have been a really cool one for him to get a victory after everything that he's gone through in this first quarter of the season. But comes up in third place. Still a really good result for Alex Bowman. He might have actually passed Cody Ware for last place in points right now. I might have to check that because that would be a funny statistic. I'm actually going to check that right now, actually. Oh, okay. Bowman's only 5 points behind Cody Ware now. Dang. Oh, man, that sucks. I was thinking Alex Bowman actually would be past Cody Ware right now because Cody Ware is absolutely terrible. That's crazy that Alex Bowman can make up all those points after being so far behind Cody Ware. To only be this far behind him in like 2 races back, man, that's insane. Oh, wow. 3 races, actually. That's insane. So, Cody Ware, yeah, that just really shows how bad Cody Ware is. Like, I hate to, like, kind of crap on Cody Ware here, but man, Cody Ware, oh, man, that entire Rick Rude Racing team, not very good. If you listen to my grades episode from last night, uh, you'll know. So at least when this episode comes out, it's gonna come out Monday morning most likely. So if you listen to my grades episode, you'll know that I kind of ripped the Band-Aid off when it came to Rick Rude Racing not being that good. And yeah, this stat really shows it with after only 3 races of Bowman being back, they're only 5 points ahead of him for last place. Wow, that's really impressive. Chase Elliott ends up in fourth, joining his teammate of Bowman in the top five. Smooth, calm, and consistent Chase Elliott was managed to keep the car clean. Wasn't involved in any crash. It was a good day for Chase Elliott. Zane Smith in fifth place. Actually ran the fastest lap. He's a good super speedway racer. Him and Todd Gilliland are pretty good. Noah Gregson, his former motorsports teammate, ended up in ninth. I do think Gilliland actually got caught up in that crash. Gilliland was up front when the crash happened, so Todd Gilliland ended up in. Let me look for him. I can't find him. Oh, he ended up in 11th. So Gilliland, I think, did have some damage, but he still was able to rally for a 11th place finish. So Off Road Motorsports cars continue good super speedway results. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in sixth place, avoided the big one, stayed out of trouble, gets a top 10 finish. Same with Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric as well. I think Cindric had a little bit of damage as well, but another Penske Ford got up to the front. Kyle Busch in 10th. Good day for Kyle Busch. He needed a good day. Got on the Talledega banks. So good day for Busch. Daniel Suarez had a lot of damage, had a lot of bear bond on his car. Ends up in 12th place. Ty Dillon in 13th. Tyler Reddick started on pole. Actually got a brand new extension as well. So congrats to Tyler Reddick and 2311 Racing. Reddick will be sticking around there for a little while. We'll be, breaking that down in more detail coming up very, very soon in another episode. But yeah, Reddick had a ton of damage when he got called up in that big one crash. Was able to continue, stay on the lead lap actually, which is crazy, and was able to manage that car with even though he had a ton of damage, and he hit the wall as well because he blew a tire, and it still ends up in 14th. Like that's a great day from Reddick. That team does not give up at all. I think Clint Boyer was talking about it. So yeah, there you go. And then Denny Hamlin in 15th. He had to battle back from a lot too. He was down multiple laps because he got on the wrong pit strategy, didn't have enough fuel in the car. Yeah, he was also caught up in that crash as well, but still finishes in 15th. So I think Hamlin, he did not lead the most laps. Christopher Bell, his teammate, I think, led more laps than him. Yeah, Bell led 31. Hamlin led 28. So there you go. Those will look at your top 15 finishers. Uh, Christopher Bell as well finished in 17th. Allmendinger in 16th. Looking at the rest of the order, Daniel Dye driving for BJ McLeod's team in 24th, multiple laps down. Riley Herbst in 25th. He was multiple laps down as well. Jesse Love and Chad Fincham in 27th and 28th. Chase Briscoe was able to get back out on track after getting some damage. He ends up in 29th. Joey Gase for NY Racing, the 44, ends up in 30th. I do want to shout out Chad Fincham once again. Chad Fincham early on in this stage one actually worked his way up to the front of the field and was leading some laps. So how about Chad Fincham and Garage 66? Giving him a round of applause here. Congrats to Chad Fincham in his 14th career NASCAR Cup Series start for Garage 66, that small team owned by Carl Long. And then looking at the rest of the order, Keselowski was up front a good amount of this race, ends up in 31st. William Byron, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, Ryan Blaney, Logano, and Larson, all some big names outside the top 30. So there you go. There's a look at your top finishers from Jack Link's 500 from Talledega Superspeedway. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to the final segment of the show, the race review rating. All right, starting off here, this race review rating segment. I don't know what to think of this race. Again, like I said, it was all over the place in terms of how this race went. It had kind of the boring stage one that had a weird pit strategy, had the big one in stage two, but then quickly returned to just being kind of, conservative racing, not trying to spark the big one. And then it got all exciting at the end of the race when they had a late restart, but kind of a lackluster finish that also had a very popular win. It was a really weird race at Talledega, but this definitely reflects like what the next gen cars and the Cup Series Superspeedway kind of performances has, or at least has been over the last couple years, which is kind of mid overall. Not very impressive, not very exciting, despite these races like Daytona and Talladega having immense prestige around them and an immense a lot of great things around these races every single time. Despite going to these tracks twice a year, and the racing product always comes up a little bit short. Like that's just kind of what it's been nowadays, and it's kind of frustrating for me at this point. Like I remember last year's Daytona race, in this fall race, August last year, the Daytona night race. It was so good. So much aggression, so much racing. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, I don't know what to think about it. Uh, this one I feel like the popular winner Hocevar is definitely gonna do a lot for me. And I will give this one credit. It had pit strategy, had some prestige and excitement with the big one, and it had a very interesting finish. It just, was all offset by a lot of other stuff in the background that, has to be considered as well. I think Clint Boyer said it in the post race after Hosfar won that this race had everything. It had the pit strategy, it had everything, but it just didn't have everything. It had everything except the racing product, like a good racing product, good not enough aggression. Like, that's my big takeaway from this race. Like, it had almost everything. It had a popular victory, just didn't have good racing, which is the biggest part of it. It's like, that's half of everything, like a half of a good race. And then all the other stuff that I just mentioned that this race had is the other half. So, I don't know. I could go 50%, but I feel like that's a little harsh for this one. I feel like it was a better race than 50%. So, I'm going to go ahead and give this one I'm gonna give this one a 70%. The Jack Links 500 from Talledega Superspeedway, 70%, a C minus grade. I feel like that may be a little high, but I don't feel too bad about giving this one uh, a passing score because I definitely think it did. It wasn't a snooze fest. It was just really mid. It was really mid overall. So let me know down in the comments what you would have given this one. Would you have given it a higher score? Would you have given it a lower score? Let me know down in the comment section below. But that will do it for this episode of Talkin NASCAR. Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode. If you didn't see it already, I posted an episode late last night going over some latest news in the NASCAR world. Jim France stepping down from the CEO role, Steve O'Donnell being promoted. I had my first quarter grades for the NASCAR Cup Series season. I had my power rankings as well, so go check out that episode. Got so many more episodes that you can check out as well. Also, share it with your friends and family if you are feeling really nice and want to help me grow the show a little bit if you want to. Also, go check out Talking Sports with Miles and Andrew. Just posted an episode about the NFL draft. We'll be having some more episodes covering it in the not so. We'll have more episodes in the near future. I almost said not so near future. I was lying overall. So thank you all so much for tuning into this episode. I still don't know how to do these outros. Hopefully one day I'll figure it out, and I'll see you next time. Take care.